This is One-on-One. Let me introduce you to a gentleman who says that he's in the change business because he helps individuals and organizations try to change and do it in a successful way. He is Jeff Cohen, president of J.M. Cohen Associates. Good to see you, Jeff.
Nice to see you again.
Let's talk about the fact that you do executive coaching, team building, organizational effectiveness. You are in the change business. Right before we got on the air, we were talking about this, and I want to jump right into it. I said many organizations, organizational leaders try to pursue perfect or perfection. And you say that's a mistake because?
Because you won't achieve very much. You'll achieve a couple of things, but what you want to do is you have a whole panoply of things that you need to do. And if everything that you tried to achieve was toward perfection, you would be stuck in the water.
Well, then why not pursue excellence?
Excellence is good.
What's the difference?
Excellence is the best that you can do under the circumstances. So there are certain things that impact the way you can do things. And if you try to achieve excellence and set that as a standard or winning or use whatever theme you want to use, then I think you can achieve what you really want to achieve at the end of the day.
One of the folks in the field that you work in, and as you know, outside of my television work, I do a fair amount of leadership coaching.
I do know that.
Yep. And one of the people who I respect greatly in this field is Jim Collins, whose book, Good to Great, is a book that I spent a lot of time thinking about and struggling with. And one of the models, one of the examples he uses, or analogies he uses, he says, Collins says, look at your organization as a bus, and you're the bus driver, right? Good to great, he looks at great organizations, and he says great organizations have great leaders driving the bus. But he also says that the bus driver has to occasionally get to a bus stop and ask, which members of our team do we need to get off the bus? Get them off the bus because they're not great players, not mediocre players. They're not great, and you can't be great with mediocre players, you say?
I say he's absolutely right. And the reason why is because the bottom of the pyramid, if you will, of goodness, of greatness, will pull you down. And you want to keep as many of the great team players as you possibly can. The other piece is they also should be team players. They also should be collaborators in this process.
And Jeff, in your world, the essence of great leadership comprises what talents, what qualities?
Oh my goodness.
Just give me top three.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what you said. You said being self-aware. Self-aware, what does that mean?
So I think that's really the first and the key element is to understand who you are. And I can use instruments or I can use questions or whatever the case may be to enable that individual to reflect on what they can or can't do and how they fit into the process.
Hold on, time out. Someone says, wait a minute, Jeff, this is who I am. This is my personality. This is the way I work. And what, do you want to change me? You're not going to change me.
I won't change you as an individual. You'll still be Steve Aduabto at the end of the day. But what I do is I work kind of this is you as the box, and I work around the edges of the box to help you be as good as you can be. And that we can't do any better than that. So that's the goal. And along there are a number of sub-goals. And we'll work toward those sub-goals in order to achieve that ultimate goal of being the best you can be.
You know, it's interesting, in your executive coaching, and because I've done and do a significant amount of executive coaching, one of the things that people who will bring me in to work with their company, with their individuals, will say, you know what, Jim and Bob, they're excited about the executive coaching, but Mary and Joe, they don't want to do the executive coaching, so I only want you to work with the people who want to work with you. And I'll say, wait a minute. You only want me to work with the people who are self-motivated to take a serious look at themselves, to be self-aware, to be self-critical, to accept the feedback from others. Wait a minute. The people who may in fact need the executive coaching the most, who are the ones who are saying, I don't want it, you're letting them not have it. You say?
I say some people don't want to be confused with the truth. And you have to work with those people.
How do you handle that?
Well, I say...
someone says, I don't need it, Jeff. I'm good. I'm good. I'm sure you're good at what you do, but I don't need it. I don't need it.
We sit down and we talk about what you want to achieve in your career and in your life and in your home. And part of that is going to be to improve. Eventually we'll get there. And I'm going to help you improve. I'm going to help you be effective. And I'm going to make your life easier. Initially, we're going to work hard, and I'm going to give you things to do, some homework assignments, etc. I'm going to ask you to fill out a diary. I may shadow you, but at the end of the day, you're going to be better than you were when you and I started, and that's great. We all need to continue to learn and stretch.
Devil's advocate, Jeff, but someone's saying, yeah, but Jeff, you're making me fill out a diary. You're making me uncomfortable. Yes, I want to change and I want to get better, but I don't want to do these things you're asking me to do because it's outside my comfort zone. You say?
We always have to do things outside of our comfort zone in order to stretch. If we want to stay where we are and remain stagnant, and if that makes you happy, then by all means, don't use me.
So what about people who say to you, and I often get this a lot, people say, if only my boss were different, if only the organization saw my value, if only everyone around me could just get me, you say?
You have to learn how you're impacting them. And sometimes you may not be in the same wavelength as they are, and therefore you're not communicating how really terrific you happen to be. And I can help you do that, first through self-awareness, and then secondly through developing some skills.
In terms of deliverables, a lot of times clients will say, all right, Jeff, I'm sure that you make people feel better about themselves, you challenge them, but I'm looking for deliverables. How does one know that you have in fact helped someone make these changes and affect the bottom line of a corporation or organization?
Okay, so there are two ways. The traditional way is to do a before and after measure in terms of something we call a 360 feedback. We ask everybody, tell me about Steve, and we get some answers, and then at the end of the process we'll do the same thing. I think we need to take one more step, and that's to look at some of the quantitative measures that are out there.
How do you quantitatively measure leadership effectiveness?
Well, because you can see how the organization has changed and the impact that organization has impacted. There was just a brand new study, just literally within the last month, that the return on investment for executive coaching is between 5 and 7 times the investment. And
is that right?
That's on a worldwide basis. So some professor did a meta-analysis and put this information together, and literally it's hot off the presses right now.
Depends upon who that coach is, right?
Of course.
Depends. By the way, tell folks how they get to your site. What is it?
jmcohenassoc.com.
You still love what you do. You're still making a difference, and we appreciate you coming in. Jeff Cohen, President, Cohen Associates. We appreciate you sharing your perspective on leadership and change, and the fact that if we choose to stay the way we are, but somehow expect the world and everyone and everything around us to change because we want it to, that's delusional. Thank you so much, Jeff. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Good stuff. Stay with us. This is One-on-One. We'll be right back right after this. Thank you very much.
One-on-One with Steve Aduabto has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Aduabto has been provided by Wells Fargo, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, the New Jersey Education Association, New Jersey Council of County Colleges, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, PSE&G, and by Verizon Communications. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger and NJ.com, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine. One-on-One with Steve Aduabto has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.